What about what is the capex part that you would be speaking about? And when you are doubling you said that some of the hotels will be owned by the company, not asset-light model. So what is the capex that you are looking at?
Very good question. When we started our journey, we were 37% asset light and 63% asset heavy. That was 2018. Today we are 57% capital light and 43% capital heavy. And this journey will continue to maybe in the end it goes to whatever 65-35 or 70-30. It all depends on the quality of growth and the metrics that we have put into place, which we'll be presenting a bit more in detail this afternoon at the Capital Markets Day. Having said that, the typical capex is 4 to 5% of the top line, and we don't plan to change that. And in the copies that you receive of the press release, the figure in there is 5,000 crores over the next 5 years. Half of it, if you look at it, would be that 5% of the top line. So if the average of the top line was, let's say, 10,000 crores of the consolidated one, you put a 5% to it, that gives you the 2,500 over a 5-year period. And the other 2,500 is for strategic projects that we want to be company-owned, digital initiatives, spending monies with our new partners that we have chosen for doing our ERP program, etc., etc. So 5,000 crore is approximately the capex over a 5-year period.
And what is the number of keys that you'll be adding, the number of rooms you'll be adding?
Number of keys, I think if we extrapolate the number, that is something which we have not communicated, may not double because some of the brands which are going to experience accelerated growth are in a different thematic category. I present like theme, so Tree of Life will not be 100 plus rooms or something. So that will add to the number of hotels, but not so much to the number of rooms, but a number close to 70,000 rooms, which means another 30,000 rooms to be added, would be a right number to look for. By the way, I forgot something very important for all of you. I should have thought of it, but nevertheless now. Indian Hotels has added 10,000 direct jobs in the last 4 or 5 years in India, 10,000 jobs. If we look at each job as a multiplicator of 8 to 12 jobs, so the number of jobs created in the ecosystem in India is around 100,000 jobs. So more than I think number of rooms is very important to see the kind of what you said, capex that we're putting, the kind of job creation that we're doing for the demographic dividend that the country has. So I think that's a very interesting number. So going forward also, we would have a similar number for sure in terms of creating new talent and new jobs and new opportunities for the people
you will have
our country.
10,000 more jobs, direct jobs, or what is the number that you have by the way?
We have 40,000 plus the strength today, of which 10,000 have been created in the last 3 to 5 years.
And what is the next?
The next would be the same in terms of number of jobs.
You are estimating for a net cash position even at 2030, and you are going to double the capacity as well. So do you expect that net debt will go up, or what will be the borrowing? And also a supplementary question.
Our preference is to keep the capital structure we have, keep the cash reserves we have. However, if something very compelling comes up and we have to still take on debt, we will look at it. But it's not our preference. Given what we have learned, what we have seen in the past, having a little debt always increases the value of the company. Let's put it in theory. But in practice, if a COVID comes or another turmoil comes, then the debt keeps increasing, and to get it down is very difficult. It's like weight. Once you put on weight, to get off that weight is very difficult. But it's very easy to put it on. So we are very prudent when it comes to debt. And if you're having enough cash generation, unless some inorganic M&A opportunity comes up, we are creating and generating enough cash every day so as to fuel the growth and the needs of the capex that we have in our system.
That was my next question. So this doubling accelerate would mean you will have to opt for an inorganic expansion as well. So would you be looking at that?
We would not opt for, we would happily embrace should there be a nice opportunity that comes up which fits in with the principle of the evolution of our brandscape that is relevant to the Indian subcontinent.
National Express. Will the number of brands that you have, the hotel brands, will it remain the same in that 700 number that you gave out? Is it Taj selection schedule? Are you going to have the same number of brands? Or?
No, nothing is ever, change is the only constant that we have. So some things will change, but exactly which brand will come when, at what point, we cannot say. But at the moment, this journey is based on what we have and what we have communicated. So I think, but it would not be right to say, because I said there is a play possible in branded residences. There is a play possible in extended stay. There is a play possible in something which India has not seen, like an all-inclusive brand in the way we would like to do it, like it's done in international markets. So this will and could happen. But when exactly is difficult, because we take one step at a time and not like have different things. See, we started with reimagining Ginger and Taj Sayats. Once that was done, then we started with reimagining Gateway and also, making sure that Vimanta and Selection settled down. Then we came with Tree of Life, Ama, Cumin. So it will be a journey in a similar fashion, and as India grows, we will look at it that way. Outside of India is very clear, it's only Taj.
Within India is extremely strong, but outside of India, you had plans earlier of going to difficult markets like China, for example. You're growing in...
Must be long time ago.
Long time.
These days, more than 7, 8. It was definitely not in any communication that we have since 2017 or 2018 to go to China or to go to Australia.
Right.
It's not a part of our plan. The action is here. The action is in India. Why should we go here and there?
So obviously,
even all the FIIs are coming and investing in India now instead of going there. And why should we go there?
So of the 700, how many can come up outside of India?
See, we'll keep doing selectively Taj. Now there are 3 Taj hotels in Dubai. There are 2 under development in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We have 3 in Sri Lanka, we have 2 in Maldives, we have 1 just opened in Bhutan. There will be 2 more opening in the next 12 months in Bhutan, in Phokchika and Paro. We just opened in Thimphu. So there are 2 more under construction in Dhaka. And so these things will keep coming, but it will be like, let's say 2 to 3 a year, and not more than that. Our portfolio as it stands today and as it will be tomorrow will be 87 to 90% centered around Indian subcontinent. The rest will be outside.
My name is Mewati Sitaram from Mumbai Messenger newspaper. As you mentioned about Taj London, your properties are doing wonders over there. Do you have any outline that so many properties are coming out next year in London? And another thing, that Orient Express, Taj was planning to take over. Any plan of that?
No. See, all these things are from like 15 years ago. It's not appropriate for me to talk about it today. Maybe the intent was very good, but that's a chapter we don't want to go to. I can only repeat, we have no such plans. But best lodging markets of the world deserve a Taj, and Taj deserves to be present in there, vice versa. And we will always look at any opportunities besides places which are very strong tourism hotspots for people traveling from India or the Indian diaspora settled there. That is where it is very relevant, and we will look at all such opportunities going forward.
Have you identified any spaces in London? Because London is a prominent place for any hospital.
I can identify, but who's going to pay for it? It's not the cheapest market. So a lot of international development will have to be driven by opportunity. We are always there to look at any opportunity in London which comes up, but the cost, the location, and the opportunity and the timing has to be right.
Yeah. Magazine. Yeah. You said that by 2030 you want to double your revenue. Could you throw some light on the models you are going to adopt? How many will be inorganic, organic? What sort of model you are going to asset light, those kind of things? Or throw some light?
I just answered that today, see, when the portfolio grows, we don't have to look at just the percentage, but if you're going to 700 hotels and approximately 70,000 plus rooms, and we say that 65-35 or 70-30 would be asset heavy or capital heavy and capital light, then that means that percentage becomes light. Within that capital light, let's say Ginger brand, we might do operating leases for it, which means operating rent agreement where you have a revenue share. Now, if you take that, then it's very easy that within that capital light pipeline, 100% light would be another 80 to 85%, 15% will still be capital, some use of our capital, but it's called capital light because it will be off balance sheet.
And geographically?
All Indian subcontinent 90%.
Yeah, and what will be the proportion of tier 2, tier 3 cities? Why I'm saying, because recent JLL report says, third quarter 2024 calendar, that out of the 2,000 keys which have come up, almost 80% is from are from tier 2.
So I had it on my slide, and I think they will have access to the presentation. You will see that we are saying tier 2, tier 3 cities. The generic pipeline in India, not our pipeline, is 75%. At the time of independence, we had 10 airports. Today, 75. It was 75. It became 150. It's going to 300 airports. So, all these infrastructure development will create new opportunities, which are in newer markets, and that's how the development will come.
How has IHCL been preparing to overcome supply constraints and the rise in the concert culture in India? This is with respect to the recent Coldplay and Maroon 5 concerts, among others.
I think the supply constraint, it should be addressed at the government level. We can only contribute what we can. And today, the number of hotels we are signing or opening is like maybe 20 times more than what we used to do 10 years ago. So from our side, the contribution is there. I think it's a more appropriate question, I would suggest, for the bureaucrats and governments, how they can incentivize the sector to accelerate growth. Will that be enough to absorb one-off events like Coldplay? Because we tend to forget that's only 1 or 2 days in a year, but the year has 365 days. So I think hotels, when they are built for 365 days and not for 2 or 3 days in a year. So that one-off, we should leave it and take it offline, as they say.
Of money control, foreign tourist arrivals are still lower and not yet back to pre-COVID levels. Is this a concern for the hotel business in India? And how has IHCL been coping with this particular segment not recovering fully?
Yes, indeed, it's been a concern on one hand and not a concern at all on the other hand. See, what COVID did was that for the short term, it has made all the business pretty regional or national. So it's not, for a variety of reasons, whether it was a long queue for getting visas or the fear of travel with the other strains and things happening. And also COVID gave an opportunity to look at your own country, and then you realize it can be also nice and easier to travel, just get into your car and drive. So I think there is a fundamental shift across the globe in terms of in favor of domestic and regional travel in the short term. In the mid and long term, it will all even out, and the foreign tourist arrivals will start going back to where it was, and in many countries it has. It's not that it has not in any country. It has many countries it has gone back, but we have the benefit of very strong domestic demand, so we are very pleased with that. However, we have taken initiative, and we announced it at the convention, annual convention of IATO, which is Indian Association of Tour Operators, that IHCL will invest up to 25 crores at major events like the ITB in Berlin, or 2 weeks ago the WTM in London, where we will host an India evening, call the buyers of all our fraternity of travel agents and include them at our cost to market and promote India. And we will obviously make an offer to the local high commissions, embassies, whatever, to join if they want to join, but if not, we are definitely doing it at the WTM in London. We will try and do at ITB in Berlin, but we don't have a hotel in Berlin. We're definitely doing it at the ATM in Dubai, that's the Arabian Travel Mark. And we might do it at another event that happens in Frankfurt, in Germany, should our hotel be in the opening phase, but if not, then the following year for sure, which is the IMEX in Frankfurt.